All right. We've done it. This is you didn't even have to wait a whole week because we did it. We're here.
That's probably the best intro we've had so far.
Oh, well, here we are 1 week later after the last one. So we're finally back onto a week type schedule, and that's a good thing. We're doing
Probably because we're stuck at home all day, every day.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Every day.
So not much has happened.
No. No. Well, we still have quite a list of things.
I guess
we got to talk about stuff. So first thing, last Sunday, Brooklyn made an origami beetle.
Oh, yeah. I did.
How long did that take?
Well, the YouTube video was 30 minutes long. And so I was like, okay, it's like longer than the other ones I've done because I've done, we did the cranes. I did these little butterflies that literally take like 30 seconds to make. They're so easy. And so then 30 minutes, like, okay, that's longer. And it took me
like 5 hours.
Like, seriously, Juniper took like 2 naps within the time that I finished it. So a long
time.
Like hours. I made this little beetle.
But it's awesome.
And it's like 3D. I mean, that's origami, I guess. But
it's a
like,
way cool beetle.
Yeah. I should take a picture.
Yeah, why haven't you
I should.
done that?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's way cool. It's like a little rhinoceros beetle. Mm-hmm. It really does look really good. I was playing games that day and just kind of doing other stuff. I had no idea what she was doing. Every time I'd get up, she would be like, don't look. She wouldn't let me see it. And so, but I really was like astounded. It was so good. I mean, it wasn't as good as my crane.
You set the bar high there.
Just kidding. No, it was like an infinite amount times better than my crane. It's really cool though. We will show it to the Instagrams.
To the Instagrams.
Anyone who doesn't see it on Instagram, just imagine it in your head. Be like, wow, that is a cool beetle. That was Sunday. Then Monday, Juniper had her 6-month appointment, which was good. Oh, I was gonna pull up. Do you remember how? She's 26 inches long, and she's here. 16 pounds. Let's see what it is.
Growth. Oops. Wrong place. Where is it? What day was it on?
Right there. She's 27.16 inches long, and 15 pounds, 13 ounces. Heavy. And then she weighs 15 pounds and 13 ounces. And her head is 16 inches around.
Yep.
She got a noggin.
Growing girl.
Just kidding. So she's tall, so her length is like in the 80 percentile, I think. Mm-hmm. But everything else is pretty much average for a baby this old. So, but yeah, she's growing, and she got some more vaccines, and they're sad. Mm-hmm. It's hard to see baby get poked.
Yeah, but it's of any time that I've ever lived, this has been the greatest reminder of why vaccines are so important.
Yeah, because was it the next day or the day after? I think it was Thursday, maybe.
Yeah, when everything kind of
started
unraveling
Thursday,
really quickly.
Or was it Wednesday night? I think it might have been Wednesday night. In Oklahoma City, the Jazz were playing the Oklahoma City Thunder, and as they were taking the floor, so the arena was filled. The arena was completely filled. Like, the teams were just about to come on, and like they had been warming up and everything. A health official came out and talked to the refs, and they canceled the game because Rudy Gobert had tested positive for coronavirus. And it was like not even, I mean, I don't know. It was the next morning. The NBA was like, "Okay, we're done. We're not going to play any more games." And then so they were the first like major organization just to be like, no more nothing. Because a lot of places had been like, okay, we're going to cancel some really big specific gatherings. I think at that point, like the church had come out and said, we're going to do general conference, but we're not going to have any audience. Like, it was kind of that way. It was like, things were like
really major events.
Like the
were being
NBA had been
canceled.
talking about like playing in front of no fans, but they hadn't like talked about canceling. And as soon as the NBA did, I mean, it just snowballed.
Everyone realized
down.
like, oh wow, this is actually serious.
Yeah.
Maybe we should start taking this more seriously.
Yeah, and so the NBA, almost any like major league sport is suspended. All of them except the XFL, which I mean, they probably will too. But so NBA, hockey, baseball, March Madness was canceled, which I think March Madness was General Conference was already kind of like that, but then they sent out the email. They canceled church everywhere. They said no one go to church in the whole world.
No gatherings, like whatsoever.
Except once a month to get the sacrament, and that will be like dictated by the stake presidency and the bishop and stuff. And Broadway closed, Disneyland closed, like everything, just every major gathering type thing,
major lockdown worldwide.
Just closed. I think that it was really interesting because as soon as the coronavirus has been, we've known about it in China since before the new year. It had already, so it's been 3.5 months since we've known that it existed. And even, in the last 2 months, we've known that places like Italy or South Korea, they've like had big issues with it. I burped. Dang it. But now that it's like immediately affecting our day-to-day lives of people, all of a sudden it's like, it's real. And I think that kind of incited this like panic, like, I don't know, like pseudo panic. I don't feel like it's crazy. It's like people aren't rioting in the streets and people aren't like
there's no looting
or,
there are runs on the stores.
Yeah, but
that's for sure.
Yeah. And so, but it has like, and that's, Brooklyn went to Smart and Final. Tell me about that experience.
I just went to pick up a few things because, well, this would have been the time that we would have done like our monthly grocery shopping trip. Mm-hmm. But like we have plenty of food. We have like a lot of dry foods that we could last on for at least a few weeks until things kind of are restocked in the stores. But I was like, if we just got like some tortillas and cheese, like we'd
just
be
like
fine.
Little things to just help tide us over.
Yeah, and we bought like a boatload of toilet paper
like 6 months ago.
Yeah, and it's lasted us this whole time. We like happened to need toilet paper at the worst time in the history of mankind.
Yeah, because what Brooklyn's not telling you is that there's no toilet paper in any store
anywhere. And yeah, everyone is.
Because people are freaking out.
Yeah.
They're going in and they're just like buying everything not everything. There's like random vegetables that won't sell out. Like
there's like 1,000 apples still, but like all the
like squash and
stuff squash and sweet potatoes, which it's good. It's good vegetables.
Those are good vegetables.
But it's just like random stuff. Like, well, there's still eggplants there. Nobody wants the eggplants.
The eggplants are disgusting.
They're the worst.
They're the worst. They are the worst vegetable. I've had it prepared well before.
Yeah, I've had a good eggplant lasagna before. That's true.
But we're
being so mean to
when
the
we
eggplants.
Made our eggplants, those were so bad.
Like
I like tasted it and literally just like was like, I'm not eating this tonight. I spent hours making that.
Yeah, that's too bad.
That was garbage. Anyway, so yeah, the store's just like completely empty. Brooklyn said that she went in and like as she walked in and just so many people and the whole parking lot was filled that her knees just kind of like shook. Like,
yeah, I was just like, oh my gosh, is this...
Like it's scary.
Like,
it's kind of scary.
I've never in my life, I realize how privileged we are. Like I've never experienced a time where there's possibly not going to be food. Like where we may not be able to buy food for ourselves. And that was just like really scary to me. Yeah. And it finally set in and I was like, oh my gosh, should I be panicking? Like this is scary.
I don't think that I mean, I don't think that food is going to be an issue. It's just kind of this initial like first wave of people freaking out. But yeah, I mean, it's a scary thing. I think it's scary to see like we're such social beings. It's scary to see like what everyone else is doing.
And not be affected by it.
Yeah. Because it's scary. I mean, you see it and you're like, holy cow, like, should I feel this way? Like, because everyone else is doing this. Right. Should I feel this way? But I don't know. I don't think so right now.
If anything, it's given me a lot of empathy for people who do suffer and who don't have food on their table every day, and it's just interesting how blessed we are, and just kind of how scary this time is right now. But
yeah, but
it'll be okay.
Yeah, so basically everywhere that, like most offices or anywhere that can have work done from home, they're sending everyone home. Brooklyn's got, like, Sony's effectively on, like, if you don't have to be here, please don't be here. That's how it is with, I think, like my dad, the state sent him home and said, don't come in for a couple weeks, work from home. I don't know. There's kind of a lot of, there's a lot of people online that are kind of like pitching this idea of like, do you think that this is where the United States kind of changes from this, very office centric,
the
traditional work environment to a more like telecommuting or just a more optional work environment where it's like, if you want to stay home and work, you can, because we have all of this stuff in place.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, it's funny how many jobs are suddenly like possible.
Able to, yeah.
We're able to do it from home now.
Where like no one would let them before. But I just think it's kind of interesting. It's been enough of an issue though, like those kind of things are on the table. It's like, will like our culture fundamentally change from the things that have happened, even if just slightly, but like fundamentally still. Right. So it's just crazy. And that's kind of what we've been doing. I work from home and go to school from home and sit at home all day anyway. So this is nothing new to me. I'm prepped for this. I'm ready for it. As a matter of fact, like when people were like saying things were getting canceled and stuff, and like I think like colleges were making all their kids or they're canceling like in-person classes and switching everything to online and stuff, and I was like kind of excited. It's like, oh, they're gonna cancel stuff, and then I was like, oh, but I already go to school online. Like it's not gonna get canceled for me because it doesn't affect me at all. But yeah, it's just crazy. Yeah. I mean, this is something that hasn't happened in essentially like anyone's lifetime.
Right? Didn't it happen kind of in the early 1900s?
Yes, I don't know exactly. I haven't heard a lot about it. I mean, the last big like pandemic, epidemic kind of thing to hit the United States where like almost everyone was affected was the Spanish flu in 1918. So it's been 100 years. Right. Anyone that was alive then wasn't old enough to remember it, right? Like how old is the oldest person?
Almost 100 years. They'd be, if they were 0 years old in 1918, they'd be 102.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So if the oldest person's like 110 years old, then they may barely remember it. But,
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so essentially nothing like this has happened at this scale, especially in anyone's lifetime. So it's just really new. It's really like different. The fact that it's closing everything, right. And I think it's a little different. I think kind of back to maybe like 9/11 or something like that, where just, the whole world just boom grinds to a halt because of this terrible thing that happened. And just those weeks afterward, everyone felt different. I mean, we were young, but even then you could feel that it felt different kind of thing. I think today though, it's a little different because it's like, this is not just a one-time thing. It's like this could go for months, and
it's the uncertainty
and it's just kind of weird. But I think our stake president sent out in his email essentially announcing that we wouldn't have church. He just sent some a couple references and like a video of just and Elder Nelson or President Nelson has put out a thing too. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but he also put out a thing. We'll probably watch it today. Basically just like just trust the Lord and like, don't, just comforting messages where it's like, this is all in the Lord's hands. It's all taken care of. I'm just going to burp again. I'm so sorry. It sounded like I was choking up. Like it was like,
just a burp.
It was just a burp. No, but I do think that it's important to remember that though, is to have this like perspective outside of just this is a terrible thing that's happening, but it's a terrible thing that is happening, but we can be comforted in the knowledge that there are still more important things. Like this is that we can focus on. The Lord is aware of what's happening, and
it's just definitely a stark contrast to what, like the panic in the world where people are like, this is the end of the world, and everyone's buying out stuff, and then you hear this calming message, and it was really interesting.
It was you could definitely feel the Spirit testify of like the truth of that, just like oh okay,
there's my BYU professor David Dibble. He's a fine artist and he paints these barns. That's kind of like what he's known for. But he posted the other day, just like, he's like, it's hard not to feel unsure in these times of fear. But I look at this barn and I think about all the people who lived through wars and diseases, and they still came out alive and maybe stronger because of it. And I thought that was really interesting. I like that a lot.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, so that's where we're at. I think most people are at that right now. I mean, generally, or basically anyone who's going to listen to this in the next week is probably feeling the same thing. People working from home, or kids are home from school, or but it's just crazy. So we're going to talk about it, but really I think it will be okay. And that's something else we've talked about and gets talked about a little bit, is sometimes there are things that happen that are going to just like take decades to recover from. But in like the stock market is down. It like had its worst day since, when was it? The
80s or something.
Was it the 80s stock market crash? I mean,
late 70s.
Yeah. And
we've lost all of our growth so far.
Yeah, from the last 2 years. I mean,
a
lot of people have. It was like a 10% drop in one day, which is just insane. It's come up a little bit, but there's that, and then there's these like shortages of local shortages of food and toilet paper and stuff like that. But when you really look at it, it's like at least hopefully this is the case. But so supply lines are kind of suffering, but in the end, like no infrastructure is being destroyed. It's not like, and what we were talking about, it's not like an earthquake hit, Los Angeles and just, factories and offices and things were destroyed that will take so much time to rebuild. I mean, there's definitely loss of human life, and that's like really sad and scary and disconcerting, but kind of as this runs its course, we'll be able to get back into it. And
inventory
so it's not so, it's not so lasting economically as something else could be, or hopefully it won't be, but it's just interesting.
I was thinking about the Black Plague, and obviously this is not the same as the Black Plague. I mean, I don't know, maybe it is, and they didn't have the vaccines or the healthcare back then. But I think about the fact that we have the internet, and just we're so connected these days that we know immediately when something's happened. And I just wonder what it looked like during the medieval times. Like, how long did it take for people to
realize
what this was, even, and how long they had to live. Anyways, I just think it's so interesting. Nowadays we know exactly what it is, what to do, and the whole world basically shuts down in one day.
Yeah.
Whereas back then it's like the news may not have spread for several weeks, and by then a whole city could have been almost wiped out, which is crazy. And so
yeah, that is interesting. Think about that and how it's changed. So that's basically it. Well, it's been rainy the whole time that we've been inside, and that's been hard. If finally there's a little bit of sun.
It's like all these parents who have their kids home from school, and they're like, at least we can go outside. And it's like nope.
Rainy. It's been so rainy here for so long. So for all week long.
It's supposed to be rainy all week, this next week too, I think.
But there is a little sun right now out our window.
Yeah, it's nice.
But if there's anything that's good has come out of this, it's that since we are kind of stuck inside, Brooklyn wanted to bake something, and she made these delicious,
so good,
no bake, just oat, peanut butter, and honey bars.
Yeah, 3 ingredients.
And she stuck to 3 ingredients.
The last time I tried a 3-ingredient recipe,
she did 5.
Well, no,
Or was it two?
I like
She
substituted one and we didn't have the other. So like, wow.
So this time we had all three of the ingredients and they were really good.
Followed the recipe.
They kind of tasted like no bake cookie
Oh, they're so
or no
good.
bake like, but without the chocolate and the sugar, obviously.
Yeah.
Just kind of peanut butter and honey.
Yeah.
Well, so.
You just warm up the peanut butter and honey in a pot, and I like to kind of get it like really sizzling so that it like really cooks it, and then you just put on oats and put it in the fridge. You just like really pack it down so it gets into a firm brick. It's so yummy.
Yeah.
It's good with milk.
This has been our endorsement of peanut honey bars.
Yes.
They're really good. I didn't write it. I tried to do this. I'm trying to just learn how to compile this outline without like sections. So we already did the baby update.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really have opinions about anything right now, right?
No. Other than the
Nothing
fact
new.
that people do crazy things when the world's in panic, like why toilet paper? I'm sure you guys are all thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I think at this point people are just buying it up so they can price gouge.
I don't think that's why. I don't think
Well,
that's
some
why.
people are
some
trying
people
that.
are trying to resell it, which is just like
It's so heartless. It's
So
like during
dumb.
this time of panic, people are like trying to take advantage of others. It's like, come on.
seriously.
Shouldn't this unite us all and like make us want to take care of each other? Although there are people like on Instagram, I have a friend who's like, I have so much toilet paper that I bought before this all went down. Like, if you guys need some, like, come get some.
Yeah.
So people
Which is
are,
good. I think
yeah,
there's a little bit of both. You see both sides of humanity
Yeah,
during,
yeah.
during
it's a
panic
really
like this.
dividing
and stuff.
thing. I had a friend who drew this this like caricature of somebody at Aldi who has these two carts that he's holding, kind of looking back with like a grimace, and one's like completely full of milk and the other's completely full of bacon. It's just like, why?
And it was something they actually saw, right?
Yeah. She's like, based on real things that I saw.
Just
Anyways,
like
thought it was funny.
insane. So hope everyone's good. And hopefully if our posterity listens to this in the future, hopefully we have a posterity to listen
Not
to
all
it.
dead.
That you aren't just the people listening to this 300 years from now aren't researchers trying to figure out what happened during the coronavirus. Coronavirus.
There's this
We listened.
yeah, go ahead.
There's like this news, or we have an Alexa that wakes us up in the morning, and Echo that wakes us up in the
Reuters
morning,
news.
and it plays Reuters news, just kind of worldwide headlines, like 3 quick snippets kind of thing. But there's this one British lady that
It's
is
like a certain kind of accent that like the R's become W's.
yeah,
So it's like
and so
the coronavirus.
and so
And like it almost sounds like a speech impediment, but it's not.
it might
'cause
be
it's British.
it might be, but it anyway. So sometimes we say that. I didn't mean to say that there. I was just making a mistake. But that also came up. But yeah, hopefully this isn't like archaeologists finding this and trying to decipher what happened to the American continent 300 years ago or something like that. But if it is, that's cool too. What's up, my post-apocalyptic homies?
Oh my gosh.
Just kidding. All right. I'm going to do one more quick mental sweep of things that happened this week. We didn't watch anything new. We didn't beat anything. We didn't. Yeah. All right, we're done. That's it. That's what we got.
Bye, y'all.
Yep. Have a good week. Good. And just survive. And we love you. Bye. Say
Bye.
bye.